Alright, and hello everyone, it is me, Jay Burns, from the future, and welcome to part 2 of how to loom my pencil pouch for my Back to School series. So if you haven't watched part 1 yet, then a link in the description will take you there. And, well, in part 2 I'm going to be showing you how to loom the double single chain at the bottom of the pins so you can finish off your dragon scale sheet, and you also will get to choose whether or not you make your pencil pouch for your binder. So see you in the tutorial.
Alright, now before we do continue, as you can see here are my bags of rubber bands. And I did not take any more rubber bands out of these bags than I needed. Well, at least the green. Some of the purple rubber bands got lost. But as you can see here, the bags used to be super duper full. And rubber bands were falling out of them as I opened the bag. Well, not really, but kind of. They were just really full, and now they are almost empty. So now I'm very angry, and I have to go get more rubber bands. Ugh. So much work. But anyway, I still have a decent amount of rubber bands. I'd probably say 100 left, so I don't know. I'm not sure how many I used exactly, but there was a caption before. So that's why you're gonna need a ton of rubber bands. This kind of shows you that you really do need a ton of rubber bands. Now anyway, to take your little pencil pouch, hopefully soon to be pencil pouch, off of your loom, you're going to start with the arrows pointing away from you, and we're going to loom this bottom layer of rubber bands now. So the bottom layer that you've been ignoring this whole time, you're finally going to pay attention to it, and finally show it some love and loom it. Now, before we do loom this little single chain here, these first two bands on, okay, so yes, these two bands, the holding it together bands, as they were called, that are not, or that do not have any kind of dragon scale on top of them. So there's one pin that has no dragon scale on, but these are on. These are actually optional. These are there, so maybe you want to attach your pencil pouch to your binder, if you have one. That's what these rubber bands are. So if you do not want to have these, what you will do is you'll use your fingers, or you could use your hook, take the dragon scale, or these two first color bands, off of this pin, but hold on to them because you don't want to let go of them and lose your project. And then take these two bands off. But if you do want these to stay on, you can go ahead and keep them on. But I would recommend actually adding two more, or another holding it together band in case of these two break, because I just don't trust two for some reason. So I'm just going to go ahead and add two more to this. And then just replace these first color bands, like so. There we go. Now, looming this is going to be very difficult, as you can see, with the arrow pointing away from you. You're going to have to find a way to loom these single chain bands, or these double single chain bands, I guess I should say, pretty much backwards on your loom. So, because there's no little, I guess, area to put your hook and just grab the rubber bands, you're going to have to go into this third left or right pin, pull back all, or actually push forward all of the top rubber bands, and wrap around the pin, or no, I'm sorry, goodness, kind of wrap around the pin so your hook is off to the side, grab the double bands, so the double holding it together bands, and just pull them off of the pin like that. Now, you'll do the same thing no matter what rubber bands you have on this third pin. If you have these holding it together bands that are going to be for your binder, or if you don't have them, it's going to still be the same. It's just this is going to be a lot easier to pull forward, because you're going to pull this, or these two bands, forwards to this fourth left or right pin. So you should be on the opposite side of your loom that you hold your hook with. So if you hold your hook with your left, you're going to loom the right first. If you hold your hook with your right hand, then you will do the left first. So, sorry if I didn't say that before. But that's what you're going to do. You're going to loom this single chain going all the way up, or down, I guess you could say, down this either left or right pin bar, and yeah, so to do that, you go into now this fourth pin, so back here, with your hook, kind of wrap your hook around, or, goodness, go through all the top rubber bands, wrap your hook around inside of the pin, and this is very difficult, especially if you have a plastic hook. It's even difficult for my metal hook. And so now your hook should have all the top bands, and your hook should also be off to the side, and you're going to grab the bottom two bands and just loom them forwards to the next pin. So now the fifth pin. I'm going to go ahead and try to show you a little, as close as I can get without making this loom fuzzy. I'm going to show you again. Go into this next pin, push forward all the top rubber bands, or pretty much all the rubber bands, I guess I should say. Wrap your hook around so it's off to the side, like this. You still have all the bands on your hook. Then grab the bottom two bands, and loom them forwards to the next pin. So it's basically looming a single chain, except you have to push your rubber bands around so you can get to these next two bands. And the way you can tell if your project is going to hold together when you take it off of your loom is if the rubber bands that you loom forwards pull forward the other rubber bands on the pin it was on originally. So as you can see here, these gray bands have all the rubber bands on this pin getting pulled forwards with them, and that's how you can tell if you're looming the right rubber bands or if you're doing it correctly, or you're on the right side of your loom. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue looming this single chain. I'm going to go ahead and just fast forward from here until I get to the end of this pin bar. And then once I get to the end of this pin bar, I'm going to show you how to finish looming on the other side of your loom. Alright, goodness, that took a little while. And also, when I was looming this, it felt really difficult to do, even with my Rainbow Loom metal tip hook. So I'm kind of, if you're doing this with a plastic hook and you actually made this without it breaking, congrats. You are amazing. And if you can make this without your loom breaking, congrats to you as well, because it feels like my loom is just going to crumble into pieces any second now. But anyway, once you have finished looming this little single chain here, on your loom, going all the way down this right, or not this right, going all the way down the pin bar, that is the opposite of the hand you hold your hook with, so left on the right and right on the left. Your loom should now look something like this.
And your loom should look something like this if you are a right-handed person.
Alright, so now, like I said, I'm going to now show you how to loom the other side of your loom with rubber bands. You're going to now turn your loom so that the arrow is pointing towards you. You're going to need to have the arrow on your loom pointing towards you now, like you're about to loom a bracelet. And down here is going to be probably the scariest and most difficult part of making the pencil pouch. To be honest, this whole thing was a horrifying journey. But to loom down here, you're either on the left, like I am, or on the right now. So you should be starting on you should be starting on the side of your loom that you hold your hook with to loom. So now, with the arrow pointing towards me, lefties should start on the left, and righties will start on the right. Now anyway, to loom this next part, you're going to need to loom these two holding it together bands. And to do that, you're going to pull back all of the top rubber bands on this pin, which there's not as many as it looks like. These are kind of not on the pin, they're kind of just sitting there. You just need to pull back all the top rubber bands on the pin, grab the bottom two rubber bands, which I need to make sure I pull back all the rubber bands, because there we go. Grab the bottom two bands, if I can grab them. There we go. And be very careful, but you gotta pull them off the pin on your hook. Oh my gosh, so many things can break right now. Okay, hold on a minute. I'm getting my other hook. I don't trust this. Oh, this is not gonna work. Okay, I'm bringing my old metal hook into this. Ugh. Oh my god, Loom, please don't break. I love you, Loom. I love you. I love you, Loom. Please. Please, thank you. Okay, well, once you have these two... Oh, oops. Once you have these two rubber bands on your hook, and they don't look like they're gonna break anytime soon, or they are probably going to break sometime soon, you're going to loom them inwards to this first middle pin. No matter which side you're on, you're going to loom the rubber bands that are on your hook onto this first middle pin. And also, once you've done that, make sure that all of the rubber bands that were on this first pin, either left or right, are kind of caught on these two bands that you just loomed. That's how you can tell that you loomed the correct bands. And once you're here in the middle, you're going to pull back all the top rubber bands, and this is probably the easiest pin to loom. You're going to grab the bottom two rubber bands. Come on. There we go. And loom them outwards to the other side of your loom. So wherever these two holding it together bands are coming from. Now here is going to be another scary part. Another scary pin we have to loom. The arrow should still be pointing towards you. And you're now going to loom the opposite side of your loom that you hold your hook with. So now we're going to loom this single chain on the right side of my loom, because I'm a left person, or a left-hand person, and right-handed people will now loom the left side of their loom. And you're just going to loom this single chain here, like you've loomed your entire, or well, all of your holding it together bands, by pulling back all the top rubber bands. Hold on a minute, there we go. Pulling back all the top rubber bands, grabbing the bottom two bands, and carefully looming them forwards now to this second pin. And oh my goodness, these rubber bands are about to break. So as you can see here, I have now loomed these two holding it together rubber bands forwards from this first pin to the second pin. And now it should be a little bit easier, or it's going to be a lot easier, because now it's like looming a regular single chain and not looming a single chain backwards. So I'm just going to go ahead and loom this single chain all the way to the end, and that's what you're going to do as well. And I'm also going to fast forward here, so use the pause button if you need to. Alright, now as you can see here, I have finished looming this single chain all the way up until the end of the single chain, and it stopped here on this 12th pin, and it should have stopped here for you as well. And now once you have loomed that last rubber band, you have finished looming all of the rubber bands that you will need to before you take this pencil pouch off of your loom. So I'm going to go ahead and put my other crochet hook away. But now, once you have loomed all of these rubber bands, you're now going to take them off of your loom. Ooh, scary part. Anyway, to do this, you're going to turn your loom, so the arrow should still be pointing towards you actually. And what you're going to do is you're going to start on either this 11th pin or this 12th pin. It depends on if you have these binder bands, I guess we could call them here at the end, or not. But you're just going to use your hook and start on the same side you hold your hook with. So left-handed people will start taking rubber bands off on the left side of their loom, and right-handed people will start taking rubber bands off the right side of their loom. And you're just going to go down your loom, take all the rubber bands off, then come around, and then go all the way up until you get to these last rubber bands on, or well, the last rubber bands in the single chain. So for left-handed people, it'll be on the 12th right pin, and for right-handed people, it will be on the 12th left pin. You'll see. So just take your hook and pull the bands off of each pin. And you can use your fingers if you want, because it looks like it's semi-safe to do that. And I'm going to fast forward. Ooh, loom, please don't break. I love you, loom. I love you. I love you, loom. Please don't break. Oh, goodness. Oh, and also, as you can see, the single chain is not coming apart. So that means I have loomed everything correctly and placed everything correctly. And if everything is falling apart right now for you, oh my goodness, I feel so bad. I'm not kidding, because this is just scary. This project is just like, whoa. And it takes forever, but if you really want this pencil pouch, man, you'll go through the pain and do it again. But just take, oh, and as you can see, I went down and around. I forgot to say that. I was just so worried about my loom, but as I went down and around, and now I'm coming up the other side of my loom. And I'm not going to take the rubber bands that are right here, so these last rubber bands. I'm just kind of using my fingers now at this point. I guess I'm going to go ahead and pick up my hook. Oh, wow, it's actually a lot easier with my hook. Just go, woo! So see these last bands here? I'm going to go ahead and hold my finger over them so that they don't come off on purpose. There we go. And now, as you can see, you have this huge sheet of dragon scale just sitting here, and also these rubber bands that were on either the 12th right pin if you're left-handed, or the 12th left pin if you're right-handed. And what you're going to do now is you're going to get your hook, slide it into this 12th pin, and you're going to get 2 more holding it together bands. Forgot to say to get those, but get 2 more holding it together bands. And make sure your hook is down far enough into this pin so that it sticks. When you stick it out, it catches all of the rubber bands on this pin. And you're going to take 2 more holding it together bands, put them in your hook's mouth, like so, and slide your hook back up through this pin with the 2 bands still on them. And they should be the only rubber bands on your hook. Then you're going to take the other end of the rubber bands you're holding with your fingers and put them onto your hook as well. And then take these rubber bands that are sitting on this pin off. And now you should have this 25 pin dragon scale sitting here. So hey, you can have a bracelet, this huge dragon scale. Oh wait, it's not long enough. Never mind, but oh wait, no, it could actually work. So you could have this huge dragon scale cuff and wear and be like, hey everybody, check it out. But this is for a pencil pouch, not a bracelet. So as you can see, this thing is very wide, and that was kind of the goal. I do not want to make 2 separate sheets for this because, well, each sheet will probably take like 4 hours, and then it would be twice as long making it 2 sheets as opposed to just making it all 1 sheet in one simple tutorial. But doing that increased the chance of breaking my loom and your loom, so, well, don't say I didn't warn you. But anyway, once you have your 25 pin dragon scale, get some more holding it together bands and keep your loom out, even though it's probably about to break into a billion pieces. I'm so sorry, loom. Make sure you apologize to your loom for doing this to it, because it deserves thanks for being there for you when you were making this and didn't break. So I love you, loom. I'm sorry. So make sure you say that to your loom so it feels better. And yeah, so get all those things and I will show you how to close your pencil pouch.
Alright, well that was part 2 for how to loom my pencil pouch for my back to school series. And well, this is part 2 out of 3 if I can make part 3 shorter than an hour, because it's about an hour and a half long, not edited, so yeah, I'm not really sure. But anyway, thank you for watching part 2. A link to part 3 will be in the description, or you could just go to the back to school playlist, which there will be a link to that as well. But anyway, hope you are you're doing very well with your pencil pouch so far. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and bye!